Welcome to another episode of WestEdge Wednesdays. All of the programs, all of the programming, all of the conversations from the main theater at the WestEdge Design Fair 2025, which was presented by Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home, a Best Buy company and an incredible partner to the design and architecture community. The stage was masterfully designed by Kim Gordon of Kim Gordon Designs, and you're going to hear the whole podcast of every episode. So these are the audio versions. If you want to see what the stage looks like, go check out the YouTube version of these. But if you're driving or if you're walking or if you can't watch anything right now, you've got the podcast episode. You can hear all the conversations. This one that you're going to hear now is called Wellness by Design, Creating Interiors That Support Mind and Body. And it was presented by Sherwin-Williams. And here's the idea. What does it mean to design for wellness in 2025 or 2026? This panel dives into the intersection of color theory, emotional well-being, and sustainable design. Hear from experts who are redefining interiors with a focus on healing, harmony, and holistic living. Who doesn't want that? And learn how these principles are becoming the new norm in design. It's really mandatory. And it was moderated by Sue Wadden and Ashlynn Bourque of Sherwin-Williams, featuring Jeanne Chung, Julee Ireland, Greg Roth. Just love this program, love this panel. It's incredible. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. Thank you so much to Sherwin-Williams for presenting this program. Sherwin-Williams set out to cover Earth with beautiful colors over 150 years ago. 1866, Henry Sherwin and Edward Williams founded the company in Cleveland, Ohio, on a mission, really. And the result is a company dedicated to delivery of the best in paints, coatings, and related products to discerning clients all over the world. That dedication was evident from the start with the hiring of Percy Neyman. Do you know that name? The very first chemist employed by an American paint manufacturer. Sherwin-Williams continues to set the bar high and provide the design community with the essential tools to create superior projects with superior products. Sherwin-Williams is committed to supporting the design community, which is why they sponsor programs like this one. They also are dedicated to a betterment philosophical approach, which is why they selected wellness as the topic for this talk. Thank you, Sherwin-Williams, for your tireless support. This was the second year that Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home, a Best Buy company, sponsored and presented the theater at the WestEdge Design Fair. So appreciative to them. In addition to everything that they do for sponsorship, they also brought in partner Best Buy, partner Geek Squad, Hisense, and made possible a video wall to Kim Gordon's design that just, it made it pop. And I think that it's so important to understand that the most important word in design today is service. Product is important, price is important, selection is important, but service, stellar service, makes all the difference in the world. And if you're a designer, if you're in the trade, Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home has a simply remarkable trade program. Their Pro Rewards program, which is a trade-up program unlike any you've ever experienced before. You have a chance to earn 3% in Best Buy e-gift cards or 2.5% in a reward check for every qualified and delivered sale, in addition to trade pricing, exclusive offers, access to exclusive special events, so much more. I can't even tell you everything here. So make sure to check them out. Thank you, Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home, for your sponsorship and partnership at the WestEdge Design Fair this year and for presenting WestEdge Wednesdays, which you're about to hear right now.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. And welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Ashlynn Bourque. I am the designer marketing manager for Sherwin-Williams, covering the Southwestern Division, which means everything from Arkansas, Western Missouri, all the way out to Hawaii. And fortunately, that does include California. I also have a team that is local here, too. And they are scanning you guys in and handing out FanDex. I don't know about you guys, but I I was just in this role up to 3 years ago, and I always heard about WestEdge and never got to come. And now that I've been here a few times, oh my gosh, isn't this great what Megan and Troy and their team put together? The atmosphere, the inspiration in the community. So I'm so excited to be here. And of course, we're going to be talking about wellness and design today. And it's such a relevant topic, I think, for today's, just our mindset today. And so excited to kick this off and kick it over to Sue Wadden, my partner at Sherwin-Williams.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Sound good? I'm Sue Wadden. I'm the Director of Color Marketing for Sherwin-Williams, which is an excellent title and maybe the best job in this company, this big old company. I've been doing this a long time. It's my 27th year working in color. I was trained in undergrad as an interior designer, and then I tripped over this job that's color marketing, and I didn't know what it was, and now it's been my whole career. So yes, I'm the person that names the colors. So if you ever wanted a color name, give me your email and send me a note, and we'll see what we can do. But we're here to talk about wellness and design, and I'm here to support Ashlynn. Our headquarters is in Cleveland, so I don't always get out to the West Coast, so this is a great opportunity to connect with designers here. In beautiful and now sunny California, thankfully. Yesterday was crazy. So we just want to talk about what wellness and design means to us. I think there's a lot of conversations going around that we're going to talk to our panelists about. So enough out of me. Julie, you want to start? Talk about who you are and what wellness and design means to you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here. So I'm Julee Ireland. I'm an architectural interior designer based here in Santa Monica with projects nationwide. And I have recently gone into focusing on wholly healthy homes. What that means is homes that are good for you. Products that are sustainable, using products with low or zero VOC, and really being conscious about the design. And I'm also the founder of Home Renovation School. And to me, wellness and design really is, how does a space make you feel? It's about the experience and how it makes you feel. And color has a big deal to do with that. Lighting, it's all about lighting to me, natural light and connecting with nature.
Is this working? Hi. My name is Greg Roth. I'm Senior Interior Designer with Homefront Build. We're a design build firm here in Los Angeles. And our sister company as well, CarbonShack, which has a deep focus on sustainability and locally sourced materials. We have product lines and textiles that we're coming out with as well. And we're very excited to be here, so thank you. I am wearing Sherwin-Williams Splashy and Sherwin-Williams Pennywise. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And I have a deep feeling about wellness, which starts with the fact that as interior designers and as practitioners in the industry, our main goal is wellness. And even if clients and when clients don't specifically ask for any aspect of wellness in their remodels or their designs, what we're doing is creating spaces that they love. And that in and of itself is wellness. Now, there are a lot of other things that have come to the fore in recent years about specific elements of wellness that we can, intentionally set. But no matter what we're doing, when a client is happy, that is wellness.
Yes.
I'm Jeanne Chung, and I am an interior designer with Jeanne K. Chung Interiors, and I also own a retail into the trade showroom, Cozy Style Chic in Pasadena. And what does wellness mean to me? Wellness means it's all about human-centric design. We're designing for humans, not just the spaces. So it's the space that affects your physical, your emotional, and your mental well-being. So that's taking into account, what you see, how you feel, lighting, designing for the senses as well. Yeah. If you're working with a family, a multi-generational home, taking it into account the human beings and pets that live in that space.
Yeah.
That's so great. And so you're talking about, as you're designing for wellness spaces, how do you use color in those spaces, Jeanne? how do you apply it, and what are you looking for the color to do for the occupants of that space?
So with color, it just depends on what the purpose of that space is. So color, it's not just about picking the hue, it's also the saturation in that room that's really going to affect your mood. When I'm looking for a calming space, I'm looking for so that you might want to feel more grounded. You want neutrals, those mid-tones. And with those mid-tones, you can accent with this more saturated colors, the hues, and that's layering the space with color. That's what creates an interesting space. But foundationally, I think about intensity.
Yeah.
And that really dictates how that room's going to feel.
Yeah. Greg, Julie, what do y'all think?
I definitely agree with what Jeanne was saying.
Yeah.
And I also feel that I take cues whenever it makes sense from the clients, right? So not everybody feels the same way about a specific color or colors. And I really want to make sure that the clients are expressing their preferences and picking from options that work for them, because the shade of blue that I think is the right one for that room, as much as I can advocate for that, might not be what they want. So when the clients have specific ideas about what works for them and what brings calmness and well-being for them, that's where I sort of focus.
Yeah, and for me, I do a real deep dive in the beginning when I'm onboarding, asking what is their favorite color? And then I'm actually showing them different colors and asking them the question, how does this make you feel? To help kind of put together the palette, because we are all different. We've had different traumas, different things, and sometimes certain colors can be a trigger to things that aren't good for us, right? So for me personally, I love to really get a deep understanding of what makes them feel good, the color palette, and then to both of your point, depending on the space and the experience, what it's designed for, then that's where we're deciding, okay, how vibrant is that color going to be? Is it going to be a softer hue? Is this a space to restore and reset? Or is this a place that we want a little bit more energy, maybe in a game space or something?
That's great. Sue, any thoughts
Can I
there?
answer?
Absolutely.
So my take on it is a little different. So I want color to work hard for designers and work the right way. So a lot of that is color education. A homeowner might just say on a programming assignment, I love yellow. And oftentimes they'll go to a fan deck or a wall of color and they'll pick out a school bus yellow, which never looks good in an interior. So it's about that's the value that a designer brings, in that education on how to look at color, how to find the right saturation and intensity and use it in a space. What designers go crazy about is light, color and light. So things like color constancy or metamerism, those are really, really important concepts for a designer to understand, because if you have the wrong undertone on a neutral and you're in we're in Cleveland and it's gray 6 months out of the year, and so colors get really metameric in northern exposure spaces. So a beautiful warm beige can look purple in sort of that shadowed light, and that drives me out of my mind. So I think understanding those nuances and undertones of color are really important to creating the right, basically color and mood. And that's what designers bring. That it's different than a homeowner just selecting a color. You guys bring that value.
Well, and 100%. And the little paint chips in the fan decks are super useful, but they don't translate exactly to the wall. And the one that you put on that wall is going to be very different than the one that you put on that wall. And they're both going to be different at different times of day and night.
Times of the day. But that's where your interior lighting comes in. Exactly. It is so incredibly important. I mean, can I say it? But I love Lutron Ketra for a reason. Full spectrum lighting. It's so
talk
incredibly.
Yeah.
Just how you treat lighting. And we've done this together, and so I've heard her speak about this. So
Could go on and on about lighting. It is just so incredibly important. There is no color without light. So your natural light, also with your Lutron Ketra lighting that helps us to kind of stay in line with our natural circadian rhythm. All of this matters so much. So yeah, bringing in lots of natural light too is definitely a signature thing of mine when I'm architecturally designing a house. It's all about windows first. Like I build the shape of the house, bring up the walls, and then it's adding as much expansive glass as possible to connect the interior with the exterior, right? And then your paint colors matter, morning, noon, and night. And then in combination with that Lutron Ketra.
Yeah, a lot of times the homeowner doesn't always realize how big a role lighting plays. I had one time a client called us in and said, hey, my house, it's beautifully decorated and everything, but it just does not, it feels cold. Why does it feel cold? I want to hire you. We went over there, and I'm like, you just need to change your light bulbs. Yep. These are 5,000 Kelvin. True. It looks like a morgue in here. Yeah. Exactly. So this is a home. This is a living room. This is not a morgue. We need to dial that down to 2,700.
Exactly.
I think I worked with that same client.
Right? Or when they mix the color temperatures in one room,
Or when they buy the $9.99 Home Depot pack and think those are great LED lights and they should just put those up.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it can get really tricky, right? Because sometimes it's not a color problem; it's a lighting temperature problem.
Yeah.
And how have you seen color, like your clients respond to color, especially post-pandemic in the last 5 years or so?
I think clients are taking bigger risks. I think we all are. I think we're back to personalization. We're back to just wanting our environments to feel good and represent who we are. And so I think it's made a really good change for all of us, right? The world kind of stopped. We had to go inside and really discover what we loved and what surrounded us. And I'm just finding that my clients are very open to more textures and really personalizing their spaces. Like they don't care. Like I like that sculptural, big, huge light. Maybe it's out of scale, but that's what I want to put in my house. Yeah. And I'm loving it. I mean, it's really great.
I think that social media has had more of an influence than anything that might have happened during pandemic, because you can see daily all kinds of different examples, and it has allowed companies with new products to contact the consumers directly in a way that wasn't possible before. So we're seeing people who are coming to us and saying, oh, I saw this color or I saw this product, and they want to try it out. So I think there's a lot more experimenting, and I think there's also more opportunities to move away from a neutral palette and to really embrace color.
Yeah, so for us, I've always been a color person, and I think with technology nowadays, that's really helped us convey to our clients how important color is. And when they just see a little swatch, it's hard for them to visualize what their room's going to feel like. So we started using VR. So we build out the models of the rooms in SketchUp, and we put the color in there, the wallpaper and everything. And they walk into their room, and and that has, they don't feel like they're taking that big a risk because they understand what that whole room is going to feel like as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, our gift is being able to see color as designers. Like, that's a gift that we have. Most people don't have that. Right. So I agree with you. The technology we have now with the 3D renderings, I take it into photorealistic, too, for the main areas of the house. But that really does allow them to kind of really see the color and feel it and understand how it's going to fit,
And it's a great tool for adjusting the design and tweaking it.
Yes.
I would say, just interestingly, like social media kicked color a little bit. 2010 to 2020 were all about gray for most people, and that was aggravating in it. So that became the language. And so we're seeing color, and designers finally have the flag. I think it's good for clients. They're now getting comfortable with the idea of color, and designers finally have the flex to bring color back in, which is great.
So fun. No, absolutely. Yeah, I've always had a lot of color in my home. I just enjoy color. It makes me happy.
It's hard, though. It's not like when you
and
don't
that
see
is
it.
Wellness.
Yes.
What makes you happy? If the color makes you happy,
right,
you're good. If you're happy, you go out in the world and you're happy and you're doing good things.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny. I have a little yoga practice in the morning, and his thing is, you're doing maybe a one of the poses, asanas, and he's like, just do it until it feels okay for you. You don't want to start your day with conflict. And I went, okay, so that could be part of happiness too. And as far as other materials, sensory experience, like how do you all approach that?
Oh gosh,
Anybody?
I love texture. I mean, I love mixing metals and materials, and I think all of us do. I've seen all of their incredible work, and I think all of you probably do too, but I think it's all about texture and mixing materials, and I love nature so much, so I'm always working with wood. I like cabinet design is like my favorite, literally. I always start my design process, like the first thing I start designing is cabinetry, because I love wood so much, and mixing them and mixing it with paint, and so I don't know. Texture.
Texture's good. I feel like the more we bring natural materials into our home, the more connected we are to nature, and that is a type of wellness, right? So non-natural materials have a place, and we all use them, and part of that is our needing to exercise control over surfaces and finishes, and we need to do that sometimes. But natural materials remind us that we're part of a larger system in the world, and that keeps us connected not only to the natural world but to each other. And I think whenever we can bring in wood, natural stone, terracotta, natural fibers, that is enriching our home and enriching our experience. And so I always focus on that.
And it's timeless.
Absolutely. It's about finding balance between materials. So wood, that's natural, plants, but then taking the exact opposite with the metals and creating that dynamic tension within a room, and that keeps that room interesting. So, the smooth with the lofty textures, scale, proportion, all of that. It's about balance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would just say from like a marketing aspect is we're starting to really investigate like what Generation Alpha is going to be interested in and Gen Zers for sure. This is the demographic that's moving up, and how are they going to be inspired by design? And they're digital natives, so they've been looking at their phones their whole lives. They understand that language. So how do you create environments that feel human to them? So it's about experiences. So scent therapy, light therapy, immersive color experiences, almost like treating a home by creating these immersive environments is going to be really important, because they're going to expect to connect that way. So it's not about just creating something beautiful, it's having like a bigger visceral reaction in a space, which again, that's a challenge. I don't necessarily know how to do that yet and do that well without it feeling like a theme park or a hospitality environment. And I think that's maybe part of it too, like creating interiors that feel very hospitality focused might be a thing, or like an entryway or something that is just an interesting topic.
Yeah. I know in our forecast, Sue and her team lead our color forecast, and I think combined you guys have over 200 collective years of forecasting, color forecasting, and strategy experience. But we've talked about for a number of years now biophilic design principles, which you kind of alluded to, Greg, and how really that has ceased to be a trend and more of a basis of design, wouldn't you say? So how are you using that, and has there ever been a time where you had, you mentioned having a color, but maybe that's not what the client wanted. Have you had to rethink your project strategy to meet the client needs, but also how does that affect like biophilic design principles?
I'd have to think about the first part of that.
But that's a big topic.
Well, I mean, for me, biophilia and biophilic design it all comes back to that, right? I mean, every design decision that has been made in the history of humankind has some connection to nature, right? So we see ancient carvings, we see the first sort of lean-tos were made of branches and leaves, and then the Greeks made columns that sort of with carved leaves on them. That's for a reason. So everything that we do, I think, relates back to nature. And the farther we get from that, the less comfortable it can be, right? And so we don't like sterile hospital rooms and sort of corporate offices because they feel disconnected, right? So whenever we can, and this is, I don't know if this is getting back to the complexity of your question, but in a home, I think it's very important to have comfort and to, again, have that connection to nature. So it can be the materials, it can be a view through a window to a garden, it can be a skylight that brings natural light into the home, it can be a print with, beautiful, flowers or trees on it, or some aspect of nature, even animals. So I think there are a million ways to do it, and it's important to keep that in mind. That's my philosophy.
That's great. Same with me. Yeah. Yeah. It's all about bringing nature into the home, whether that's color, texture, materials, or even putting in a nanowall system where you open up, the house so that the outside becomes part of the home. You're bringing that within the home.
Yeah, exactly. And we do a lot of that here in Los Angeles,
Yes.
which is wonderful. For me, it's just biophilic design has always just been in me. It's through the windows. It's through bringing that natural light in and that placement and being really thoughtful of that. And then, plants and all the stuff, that kind of bringing that on the indoors, designing with natural woods and all those elements that through the window just bring that space in.
And I think that, especially in Southern Californian areas where you can have actual disappearing of those barriers, you have more opportunities for light, for air, for sound, for smells. We did an ADU recently with a pool attached, and the ADU is going to be for guests and whatnot, but the husband in the family is going to be working out of there, and he wanted a fountain with a specific type of splash next to the pool because he wanted to have that sound, not just because there's an elementary school a block away and he hears that and he wanted to cut that out, but because he also wants that connection to nature. He wants that connection to water specifically, and I think that makes a big difference in the way we experience our homes.
I listen to soundscapes as I work all the time, and it is just soundscapes, water, all of that. That really calms me too. I love that.
That's cool. Can I ask them a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So I wonder, what are the rules of the road? Okay, we know, right? We talked about that. These are sounds that make people crazy.
Make sure your electronics works so that you don't get those buzzes with the voltage that doesn't work, because that can be a pain.
Yeah, drive people crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that airflow is really important, and when you don't design a home, because our homes tend to be sort of, chambers that are sort of isolated, if you don't get the HVAC system working well and you have that sort of stale air, even though it's moving in a certain way, I think that can be a fail.
Yeah. I think the most important things are air, water, and light. So to your point, air, making sure that you have a great system, right? That you're, pushing the air, bringing the natural air in and pushing the air out. It's in being really thoughtful about your materials and the things too, like low to zero VOC. We've all, gone into a store and smelled the off-gassing. All of these things affect, your air, which is not good. We don't want to breathe that stuff. So I am very, very thoughtful. I'm always researching and really trying to understand how products are made, where they're made, what type of paint is on it. I mean, I even go as far as where is the Wi-Fi going to be placed in the house? Where is electricity running? All the stuff. It all matters.
Yeah, there's so many different things that affect our clients. As I was talking to you earlier, the VOCs. I know from my experience, and everybody in my office knows this, If they bring Swiffer lavender scent, I can smell it a mile away, and I start heaving. But you know what? That's not just me. There are other people as well. Formaldehyde in the glues and cabinetry. That's another thing in the paint. So
Not
that's
Sherwin-Williams paint.
Not Sherwin-Williams paint.
Sherwin-Williams is perfect.
Yeah, but if you've ever, been exposed to those fumes when they're spraying lacquer, I mean, it will knock you out.
I do not allow any kind of painting like that in the house, and then I'm always very cautious of making sure I know what kind of paint that they're using.
Exactly.
Because it's so important. And there are a lot of things that you can do to clear your air naturally too. Cork. I love cork, and it's having a little resurgence now.
Yeah.
It is a natural air purifier.
Didn't
Definitely
know
want to have that in your
really.
kitchen. Just have a little cork trivet or something. It takes in the harmful chemicals and reprocesses it and spits it out
And
with
there's some
clean
great
air.
potted plants, indoor plants
And
that
indoor
actually
plants
purify the air.
purify
the air too.
the air. That's why real plants are so important. Then, this looks kind of realistic, but it really matters. You want to have some real plants in all of your spaces. It's just clearing your air for you, and people don't even realize. And it's a real living, breathing thing. And so we connect with it. We're all nature. We're all connected,
And like cork is sustainable too.
It is 100.
Because it regenerates very quickly. And it's good on the feet, on the floor. So,
And it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
Go to
great.
the Connoisseurs Club, and then you'll see it on the wall where the wine is. That is cork wallpaper, and you'll see it on the back too. There's a white cork wallpaper. So you can bring it through like flooring, walls, so many
Upholstery
things.
fabric too.
Yeah.
Sherwin-Williams actually has a paint product, Super Paint Air Purifying, that reduces formaldehyde-produced VOCs from other building materials like you just mentioned, and will help also mitigate those things. It also helps mitigate ambient odors as well, but another product to contribute to that overall indoor air quality and sustainability. And
Well,
so
this gets back to the notion that brands are stepping up and producing products that support wellness and that the design community can embrace and offer to clients. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is a global movement,
Yes.
wellness, right? We all we get it now. We're like, oh my goodness. You have the opportunity to pick a product that's good for you or a product that's not. And I think we all are understanding that we can live longer lives, that a sauna is really good for us. We should go in a sauna every day. It's going to extend our life, things like that. So it's kind of cool. I think it's a really cool time for designers, for us all as designers. And this is what I've been nerding out on definitely lately.
Well, it even seems like wellness and longevity are kind of like these more aspirational kind of luxury things that we're want to hold on to because we want to live well, we want to live long, and we want to enjoy life. So it's so important. I've added plants since COVID, but I can't add another one because I'm rarely home, and my husband's I think tired of watering all of them repeatedly. But it's so important to incorporate those in environments. What other thoughts do you have, Sue?
Just the same thing, like health span, right? That's a term we use often. It's not just well-being, it's we want to live longer, healthier lives. So you don't just put in a home gym. It's about like a sauna or water therapy or cold plunges or whatever those things are. I think as designers, we bring that to our clients to help them create environments where they can stay home longer. They want to age in place. They want to use all those principles where they can design spaces that they live in forever. So
my clients are doing they're doing spas, like
wellness
sauna,
suites,
gyms. I feel like we're all wanting to stay at home more and do the stuff there, have all the stuff there, right? Have your own gym to go work out in.
Exactly.
And,
Every app. and all the wellness
And double
devices.
kitchens, 2 kitchens, right? Every house I design has 2 kitchens.
That is so like a little Italian grandma thing. That's how I grew up. My grandparents were like in this tiny little home, and my grandpa's kitchen was in the basement, and my grandma's was upstairs, and he would make the ravioli. It was cute. It
Oh
did
my
not look like
God.
the homes you designed, but that's all right.
Oh, I want to go there, though. I love Italy. Who doesn't love pasta?
But you know, the consumer thinks that it is so easy to think, to design a home, but there's so much information out there that we have to know, and that's the value that we as designers bring to the table. How many times have we gone over plans and, they've missed things. And when things are being built, it's too late. But that's why we are so important in that process. We shouldn't be, designers should not be an afterthought. They should be brought in at the same time as the architect and work together with the architect to maximize the natural light in the home and the flow so that home feels good. Extra set of eyes and a wealth of information is what we are.
Well, and I've seen that too in another city. Actually, we were touring a property with the designer, and literally she had to go back to them, and I can't imagine the cost of the change orders, but fixing some things that were missed and early on in the design stages, the architecture stage, that at least they fixed them, and so actually that home is going to function better for that family. So it was kind of exciting to kind of hear the designer's point of view and bring that expertise to make a space function well. Yeah. How do y'all use spatial planning functionality to increase wellness or happiness in the home?
Well, so we are just about to wrap up a home. It's a fairly small home here in Los Angeles that the clients bought, I think, about 10 years ago. And then there's a living room very tight and happy with it. So we added to the back of the house, and we opened up the wall between the dining room and the kitchen. So now there's a procession of arches that we articulated in the style of the home. And so from the front to the back, and in the back add-on room, there's sliding windows to the back door, to the backyard. So you walk in, and there's just this procession through the entire space of the home. It's completely open, and they walk through it now, even though it's not even completed, and you can see the change in their bodies and their enjoyment of the space. And that is wellness, right? That is changing the way that these people live in the home that is their home to be what they want, to be comfortable and to be open. And I think that is sort of what we are good at doing and what we are asked to do. So I'm happy that we're doing it.
Yeah. I think layout is so incredibly important. I always like to be there in the beginning, but to your point, sometimes you're not. And the architects they've already got the plans, and you have to trust me. There are some things I just fight for them. Like, no, we need to move this. But layout is so important. Like even your sight line. Like I just got a total visual of what you created, and I'm like, oh my God. It's like every space should have a moment and should be taking you somewhere. So like you're taking them on this journey, right? So even like your door, like sight lines, I get as intricate as like I'm looking through this hallway, and I don't want to see a door slightly even an inch lower than the ceiling, So are there clear paths throughout and clear visuals in the hallways and everything,
Space planning is huge for me. Again, one of the reasons why we use VR, because the homeowner doesn't always understand how the proportion and the scale feels. We have a client who's building a brand new house from the ground up, and she said, they've poured the foundation, they've started framing, and she said, our primary bedroom is the same size as our previous bedroom, but it feels really small, and I don't understand why. And we took a walk over there, and I said, your ceilings are just so high, and that's why it's not feeling cozy. And to me, it feels like a prison cell. And they think that, oh, you can just work your magic. And, her husband, she said, my husband's a short guy. A short guy wants tall ceilings. But that's something that it's really tough to change. But if you can take them through that experience and walk them through, and so they can stand in that room and see how it's going to feel, they understand right away. And they're like, you're right. Because they think tall better. Not always.
No. I just had that in a house in Houston that I'm building. I walk in, I'm like, what happened to the ceilings? Why are they 12 feet in this bathroom, right? They were 10 feet. They were set at 10 feet, and it's a small bathroom. And the clients happened to walk by when I wasn't there, because I build, nationwide, so I wasn't there. They walked in, and they're like, oh, that ceiling's too low. Let's raise it. So they raised it 2 feet, and then I had to go through the whole thing of going, hold on. This does not work. It just feels weird. It's going to feel so awkward to go in this small secondary bath and have your ceiling. What am I going to do? Bring the tile up 12 feet on your shower? So sometimes, it is about educating them, showing them it in 3D so that they really can understand. And then just telling them they don't have a choice. We're lowering the ceiling again.
And it's putting that work on the front end, so you're not having to fix mistakes during the process, because that's going to take up more time and money, and who wants to do that? So the more that we can educate our clients that way and let them know, you're hiring us so that we can avoid mistakes and save them money. And that's why we're worth every penny, right?
Exactly. We're like master problem solvers, though, really, because even though it's on the plans, I just had something totally built. I'm like, the wall is 6 inches, too short. I have a huge built-in with walnut and everything. Are you kidding me? And there's vaulted ceilings, so we had to problem solve, figure all that out. I mean, I made it look beautiful, whatever, but it's we're problem solvers too.
Absolutely.
And therapists.
Yes.
And therapists.
All the things.
That's a good point.
What innovations are you most excited about in the wellness sphere for your clients?
Lighting, and you touched upon
technology.
Ketra. And really incorporating the circadian rhythm and the color temperature throughout the day. So you wake up in the morning, you want a cooler light. But then as you wind down at the end of the day, you want a warm ambient light. Because if you're have you ever been in front of your computer at 10 o'clock at night and you can't sleep? It's that blue light. So you need that warm temperature. So that's one of the technologies.
Circadian lighting just basically means, for anyone who maybe doesn't know, it's just your lighting on your interior follows nature outside your windows. So in the morning, you have brighter light, noon, bright, and then it starts dimming. So you can actually set your lighting with Lutron Ketra to actually be programmed to where you are in the planet, where your house sits, what time of day it is, what day it is, and it will follow that same lighting on your interior. So it helps us wake up, be energized, and now we need to reset to be able to restore and relax and get our sleep and wake up and do it again the next day with a smile.
I have been pretty excited recently about the developments in technology around fabrics. There are some amazing fabrics that are being woven from kelp, from all kinds of different plant materials, and particularly hemp. We're big advocates of hemp, which is a real workhorse for the home. It is breathable, and it is UV resistant and mildew resistant, and takes about, I think 1% of the amount of water to create a pound of hemp as goes into creating a pound of cotton. So we're big advocates for hemp and the technologies that have been advancing the different ways that we can use plant-based fibers in the home. So I think that's pretty exciting.
What about bamboo? bamboo too.
Very cool. Sue?
I would just say that I love the innovation of all these materials, and there's paint technology too. That paint is a chemical, right? But there's definitely new products that are coming out, that have different base structures and natural pigments. We're kind of excited about, so to be continued on that discussion. But I think we're, like you said earlier, as a brand, we're like committed to wellness and sustainability, and that's a different conversation than, say, 10 years ago. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
I am very conscious of partnering with brands that have the same vision and philosophy, and I think that is so important too. Like companies that care
Committed.
about the planet and that are committed to sustainability. Those are the products that I love, and to work with, and the brands I want to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. And Sue, so one of the things that we've talked about so do you want to?
So are you familiar with design? So it's essentially how the physiological human response to color and design. And it's kind of been like a buzzword out in the design space for 25 years or so, but now it's really coming to the forefront. Commercial designers have been focusing on it for a lot of different reasons. Maybe it had different applications like in workplace, but now it's really becoming a core tenet in younger designers coming out of school in residential design, and it's basically how humans respond to color. So we know that bluer tones are soothing, but like, what is the actual physiological response on the body? So does your blood pressure goes down when you're in a blue space? It's a shorter wavelength. Shorter? Oh God, I can't even remember. Yes.
Yep.
So you need balance, right? As the human eye ages, we tend to see yellow light better and warmer colors. So if you're designing a space that's got multi-generational inhabitants, you need to account for those responses to color. So it's not color psychology, it's different. This is evidence-based design. So there's programs like Johns Hopkins, Harvard, University of Pennsylvania. They're investing in research platforms in design where they're fostering programs, right? Studying the physical and physiological response to color. So I think it's something to keep aware of, maybe educate yourself on a little bit, because to me that's value of a designer to a client. The knowledge that we bring, you can't just pick up on ChatGPT, right? We have a responsibility to our clients and the planet and all the things, and this is just another element of that. So fascinating. There's some writers that are really studying the topic, and I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, I'm super excited to learn more because we just hosted my mother-in-law who has some dementia, and it was interesting. She's a very vibrant woman, but she was an anesthetist nurse, so a very smart lady, and to see her sort of decline, but also kind of some of the anxiety and things that come along with that, even having knowing children that are ADHD or maybe having autism or things like that is, sadly more common than not in society, but being able to design spaces where people aren't overstimulated or there's not this complete sensory overload with high contrast and things like that, I know is a part of that, because Sue and her team give us all this great information to help us be more aware too. But I love the conversation as it keeps going, and because wellness is not just physical, it's also psychological as well, and we want to support all those areas. But between color, materials, spatial planning, all those things, we can do that. So,
I think there's an
great.
increased awareness around these ideas of neurodiversity,
Yeah.
and while we may not be as enmeshed as your team is or other people, just having an awareness and approaching clients with that awareness, with the possibility that they might not see things or need things the way that you assume, because everybody has a different point of view and different sensorial needs. And the better we are able to attune the design to each client, I think the more successful we'll be in sort of addressing those needs.
Absolutely. I know we have just a few more minutes, so are we ready to take questions from the audience?
Who's it going to be? Who's the one that's breaking the ice for us?
We have a Starbucks card for the first question.
And we also have a Joe Malone candle drawing from those.
Oh, you got to take her. I love it. You got to take her back here.
Yeah, okay.
I'm definitely take her. How did you guys get started with interior design? What was your first feeling that you had that was like, this is for me, this is where I'm meant to be?
Well, I'll start.
Yeah.
I was
Go,
a
Jeanne.
fashion designer before, for 20 years before I shifted into interior design. And I was always interested in the home and design. And when I moved out to New York I got remarried, moved out to New York. I thought I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and it lasted 3 months. Went back to school because I just wanted to learn more. I had moved into a new house in New Jersey and really wanted to get into design. So I went back to school for it, and it's been a passion ever since. I always tell people I have the same creativity as being a fashion designer, but I don't have that attitude. I am satisfying one family, one person. It's not different territories. That's tough when you're trying to satisfy different wants and needs. But when you've got one client that you need to focus in on, that's where my passion came from.
Yeah, love it.
I was moving my bedroom furniture around as a kid constantly, so I'd say I started then. I had a grandmother who had incredible taste and had a home in Miami Beach that, I still keep referring back to that in my head because she was super influential. And then I had a journey that took me through an undergraduate degree in visual arts and then a master's degree in architecture. And my career I started off doing large-scale commercial projects, hotels and casinos and malls, and it was terrible for me. It was like not being able to interact with the end-user clients was just horrible for me. So that led me to homes and residential work, and I've been very, very happy about it since then.
Well, I like you. You were moving furniture around, but I was taking shoe boxes and crafting homes for Barbie. Okay, so that's where it started with me. And like you, and I discovered this the other day with your beautiful renderings you posted on Instagram. You need to go take a look at it. They're a wall worthy. But I started out as a fashion designer too. So I have a degree in fashion design. And how I moved into interior design is I painted wall murals and faux finishes, and I had a business doing that. And I ended up painting a wall mural for someone who was the head of D.R. Horton and said, hey, you're super talented. Would you ever consider, being an interior designer, working with our projects? And that's where it all started. That's where I learned how to design, build from the ground up, completely self-taught. And I've been doing it 25 years now, and I love it. And it's the right place if it doesn't feel like work. It never feels like work. I love coming to these shows. I love meeting new people, new designers, seeing their work, becoming friends. It's just fun. It's just a wonderful world. Yeah.
Me, I call my journey the path not taken. So I was an undergrad, and I was going to be a jewelry designer. I was like, I'm doing this. This is great. And then I hated it. I didn't want to be on a bench. It was too much. Then I went into fiber because I thought that'd be cool. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That didn't last long. And I ended up in interiors, and it was the right balance of business and design. And then I fell into this marketing role, which I really, really like. So this has worked out for me. I do wish I was I dream about being a house renovator, home flipper someday in my retirement.
Let's collab, girl.
I would like that. The older I get, I'm ready to be working with my hands again. Yeah.
Not a designer, don't play one on TV. However, my great-grandmother wrapped rooms in Celadon, and she, built brick patios, laid the bricks herself. I built stuff for Barbie and moved furniture around. So I must have been destined for this industry, and I have to say it's the best industry there is.
I also had a Barbie dream house.
I cut apart curtains. I made this cute dress. And my mom's curtains on the bottom. She's like, what did you do? Well, I made this cute dress. And I
changed her clothes and rearranged furniture all the time.
It's funny.
For Barbie.
I never got good grades in school, but I got straight A's when I went to school for interior design.
Right. That's when you know.
Yeah. Anybody
Ashlynn,
else?
we have one over here.
Yep. Oh, yep.
Turn my microphone off.
Hi, so thank you, really nice. So I just also attended the previous session, and it was about sustain and recycle. And you are saying that it's so important to combine all of the natural, all of the woods, and so important about the real plants coming and getting into your house. So also we know we are in California, but I think so it's everywhere else, that it's so important to be environmental friendly and protective. For example, now, if you are building a house, you are not allowed basically to put deck with the wood. It has to be fire safety and all of that. So how you are going to combine this new reality that it's coming to us with what you were just saying about this natural, beautiful stuff that we should be around, for our all mental health?
I think the answer is creativity and creative thinking, right? So we need to adjust the way that we think about home building and the environments that we live in and the landscape that we're living in. And the industry is stepping up in a lot of ways to create products that are more resistant and reusable in a lot of ways. So we have to explore those as designers and embrace them in ways that work for both us and the clients. And I don't have a specific answer for that other than there's a learning curve for all of us in this day and age when things are changing. And the more that we're able, during that process of learning, to keep in mind the importance of natural materials and connection to nature, I think the better we'll all be.
Yeah, it's about education. It's just about really understanding materials. And that's why these shows are so important, I feel like, too. I go to many shows because that's where I'm discovering stuff and I'm able to ask questions and learn, like, how this product... So the more knowledge you have on materials, the better designer that you actually are and that you can be. So I think that that's so important. And also it depends on where you're building the house and just really understanding what are the constraints for that particular, city or state or that type of stuff. So there's a lot of studying. There's a lot of,
and I think that an important aspect of that is to ask the questions like you were saying and don't necessarily take the first answer as the right answer because a lot of branding, no offense to branding people, but sometimes the branding is a little bit of greenwashing.
Yes.
And if you really care about it, dig in and find out actually where does that come from? What chemicals are being used? Where is it sourced? How is it produced? And those are important questions to know as part of the learning curve.
Yeah, and I love to go to the factories too. I love going and seeing the factory and meeting the people behind the brand and just understanding how things are made. If you guys have never been to Corey, you need to go. I'm telling you, that is an extraordinary, to really understand why this piece of marble costs what it costs when it gets here. If you just understand the process it goes through, how many hands that touch it, it's incredible, and it's an incredible experience. So I recommend everyone go to Italy as soon as possible.
We said so. Gotta go.
Well, it's education and storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah, storytelling has become really important in what we do. And that's, like you said, the consumer doesn't always understand the time it takes, the process. But they love to humble brag when they have guests over, right? And that to them is worth the price that they're paying.
Yeah, we talked about provenance earlier. It's good to see antiques coming back, especially for younger audiences. Like, you don't have to just go buy furniture brand new. There are so many resources out there to reclaim and repurpose and retool and seek out antiques. And I kind of forget how to do that. So it's fun re-educating myself. Places like Round Top. It's a good exploration.
Yeah.
And it's sustainable.
And it's sustainable at its core.
And it's timeless.
And even if you can't go to Round Top, there are so many flea markets here.
Right down the street.
Right across the street. So,
No. You've got them all throughout your communities and neighborhoods too. But no, it's exciting to kind of see antiques kind of making an appearance now too.
We have one more over here.
Okay.
Hello. Oh, sorry. My background is fashion as well, and in the late 90s, early 2000s, I traveled to Asia a lot. So my question to you is, and I would see a lot of innovation, great materials, the whole Zen thing. You can stay in like a five-star hotel for like $200, but you saw like amazing stuff. How does the hospitality industry, because there's like this enormous playground to do with a tiny space, or a big space, depends on your budget, but meaning like that you can stay in a suite versus a regular room. But how does the hospitality industry affect what you're doing with your individual clients, or like in general? How is that, impacting you?
Yeah, I think it's a two-way street. I think that hospitality borrows from interiors, and we borrow from hospitality. I had a client recently who was in Indonesia and came back with photos of this amazing bathroom, and can we do that in their home? So, that's designed by a hospitality designer, and so we didn't copy it, but we did something that, sort of emulated that. So I think it works both ways.
Yeah, I just think global travel influences so much of what we're doing, certainly in color, and we want to reflect that in our homes. We want to recreate that sense of that amazing experience, and in some small little way to try to do that within a home.
Yeah, and actually wellness retreats in hotels are a big deal right now. There's a big movement with that, which I love. Like, who doesn't want to go on a vacation to just a wellness and wake up with yoga and all the
For sure,
stuff?
those products are coming into the home.
The cold plunge. Yeah. I'm not going in the cold plunge, though. I'm telling you, I tried. I tried to put my toe. Never happening. Just letting you know.
You just got to do it.
You guys got to take the
Sauna,
dive.
yes. No.
Dive right in.
Well, Josh has given me the sign, but this
What
little
sign is
signal
that?
to
Hi?
say, the high sign, like your time is up. Anyway, but you guys have been. I knew you were going to be amazing. This exceeded my expectations, and so thank you all for having this great conversation. Thank you.
So
Very
fun.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you
very welcome.
for having us.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of love for this panel. You guys, what a great job. I love that. And by the way, thank you to Sherwin-Williams for sponsoring this program and making this possible. Amazing and incredible, and loved every minute of this, and I hope you did too. Thank you, WestEdge Design Fair. Thank you to Pacific Sales Kitchen and Home, a Best Buy company, for sponsoring the stage and making these conversations possible and available for recording after the fact as well. Thank you to Kim Gordon of Kim Gordon Designs for your incredible work. Thank you to Ashlynn and Sue from Sherwin-Williams. Thank you to Jeannie, Julie, Greg. Love this conversation. Love this event. I hope you're enjoying these episodes of WestEdge Wednesdays. And make sure to subscribe to Convo by Design if you want to receive all of them automatically to your podcast feed as soon as they're published. Thanks for listening. See you next time.